Hey guys, I am Info Girl. Today's video is probably going to be one of the most personal videos I've ever made because we're not talking about a credit card, we're not talking about a loan, we're not talking about some credit hack. We're talking about my real story, how I went from having credit in the low 400s, filing bankruptcy because life had happened, and eventually rebuilding my credit all the way back up. And before we get started, I want to say something. If your credit score is low right now, this video is for you. If you have been getting denied, this video is for you. If you have made mistakes, this video is definitely for you. And if life has happened, things are out of your control, this video is for sure for you because I know exactly what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be embarrassed to look at your credit report. I know what it feels like to get denied. I know what it feels like to feel like you will never get ahead in life. And that's why I wanted to make this video. Because if I can come back from the low 400s, you can too. Let me tell you what happened. There was a time in my life when everything seemed to be going wrong. Bills were pulling up, debt was growing, stress was growing. And some of the situations I found myself dealing with weren't completely in my control. I wasn't out here trying to destroy my credit. I wasn't waking up every morning saying, let me ruin my financial future. Life had happened, and eventually I found myself in a position where bankruptcy became the best option available for me. Now, I know bankruptcy definitely gets a bad reputation. People hear that word and immediately think failure. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as a chance to breathe again, a chance to stop drowning financially, a chance to start all over. And honestly, that's exactly what it became. After everything happened, my score was terrible, low 400s. I had collections, I had negative accounts, I was getting denied. And every time I looked at my credit report, it felt overwhelming. I was thinking, how am I ever supposed to fix this? Like, how am I supposed to get out of this? How do people come back from situations like this? Can I eventually get qualified for anything ever again? Those were my thoughts at that exact moment. A lot of people watching this video have had those same thoughts. And if that's you, I want you to understand something. Your current score is not your final score. It's simply where you are right now. The first thing I stopped doing was panicking. I stopped applying for everything immediately. I stopped chasing approvals. I stopped looking for magic tricks. Instead, I started to focus on rebuilding one step at a time. I started learning how credit actually worked, not what social media said, not what random people were saying. I learned what lenders actually care about: payment history, utilization, credit age, consistency. And that's when things started to change for me. Now, rebuilding wasn't, quite frankly, exciting. It wasn't glamorous. I wasn't getting 20,000 approvals. I wasn't getting premium cards. I was starting off very small, and I mean very small. But I focused on creating positive payment history because that's what my report needed: positive information. Month after month, I made payments, I stayed consistent, and slowly things started to improve. But not overnight, not in 30 days, but they started to improve. The biggest mistake I see people making is expecting immediate results. They want a 800 score the next month, a huge limit the next month, perfect credit the next month. That's not how this works. Credit building is a process. The people who succeed are usually the people who stay patient, even when progress feels very slow. And trust me, I've been there where it feels very slow. Even when the score doesn't move as fast as they want, they keep going. And eventually, those small wins start adding up. As time passed, I started noticing something. The same habits that felt boring were working: the on time payments, the low balances, the patience, the consistency. Those things started to push my score even higher. then higher, then higher, then higher. And then eventually I reached the 700. And that felt so amazing, knowing where I came from, knowing how hard it was for me, because I remember where I started. I remember those low 400 credit scores. I remember the denials. I remember the stress I was feeling at that very moment. And it reminded me that progress is possible. So if your score is low right now, don't let that score define who you are. Don't let one chapter become your entire story. Life happens. People go through divorces, medical issues, job losses, unexpected emergencies, and sometimes credit gets damaged in the process. What matters is what you do next. Focus on the progress, focus on consistency, focus on rebuilding, because I promise you all, where you are today doesn't have to be where you stay. If I come back from below 400s and eventually rebuild into strong credit, so can you. I've been there, I have done it all just about with as far as my credit. And is it going to be an easy process? Absolutely not. But with the right kind of tools, it can happen. Now, I want to hear from you all. What is your credit score and where do you want to be in a year from now? Drop it down below. I read every single comment. I would love to hear from you guys. Until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.